If you're a cosplayer, then chances are you have been mistaken for another character at a con or even on social media. It doesn't seem to matter if your character is obscure or well known. This is especially true if there are two series that are trending at the same time that have characters that look slightly similar to each other. For Yeren and Dungeon Menshi, I'm looking at you, because I have seen cosplayers from those series being mistaken interchangeably. As a cosplayer of almost 10 years, I am no exception, and in this video, I'll go over my experience of being mistaken for another character at cons. One of the series I used to cosplay from a long time ago was Love Live. When I was cosplaying from it, it was very trendy, and often you'd see dance circles at cons. So I tried to be creative and cosplay gender-bent versions of the characters. One of the characters I cosplayed as was Umi Sanada. Specifically, her Wonderful Rush outfit, as it was one of my favorite songs. Not many people, not even Love Live fans and cosplayers, recognize this cosplay, and quite often, I was mistaken for other characters. I was mistaken for a Free character, because Free was popular back then. I remember promotional outfits looking slightly similar to Umi Sanada's Wonderful Rush outfit, and I was also mistaken as 2D from Gorillaz. Next up on my list is Moomin Troll from Moomins. I wore this cosplay to ALA 2020, and this was when Moomins was circulating around the internet. So back then, it wasn't as hard to find fans at cons compared to right now. While I was picking out my badge, one of the registration staff asked me if I was Artemis from Sailor Moon, and it was weird considering I did not have his forehead details on my forehead. Later as the con progressed, I was constantly mistaken for a character from the new Cats movie. The strange thing is, a lot of people who mistaken me for that Cats character were also familiar with Moomins as well. And I was told I wouldn't have been mistaken for that character if the Cats movie was not released at that time. One of my favorite cosplays I've done was Felix the Cat. Felix is one of my favorite cartoon characters, and it has been a big honor wearing it at cons. Needless to say, I had some very interesting reactions to it. At Colossal Con, I was also mistaken for a Cats character, the character in question being Mr. Mistopheles. Maybe it's because of the way I did my makeup, I don't know. But the weirdest reaction I ever got was being called the Cat in the Hat without a hat. Yeah, you couldn't make this up. I was also asked, "Are you Dr. Seuss?" And I thought that response was hilarious, especially considering there's a Cat in the Hat cosplayer not far from me. One of my more popular Moomin cosplays were Snufkin and the Jockster. Often, when I cosplay Jockster, I tend to be mistaken for his son Snufkin, who is arguably the most popular character within the Moomin fandom. But also one time at this small Comic-Con, I was thought to be the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. This kinda makes sense considering I'm from America, and The Wizard of Oz has a cultural significance here. Plus Jockster's hat looks slightly similar. My Snufkin cosplay, on the other hand, had been mistaken as Peter Pan. One time at WonderCon, I was asked by someone walking past me, "Where's Wendy?" In addition, both my Snufkin and Jockster cosplay had been mistaken as Ralsei from Deltarune, which I don't find surprising considering their outfit similarities. I've also cosplayed as my personal favorite Moomin's character, Moomin Papa, and I've gotten a response that I still find funny to this day. At an Anime Impulse convention, there was a guy who walked past me and he pointed and shouted, "Willy Wonka!" I don't know if it's the top hat, but I don't see much similarities with my Moomin cosplay and Willy Wonka. And of course, my Tutuki cosplay had been mistaken as Waldo, because most people would think of Waldo at first when they see someone wearing a shirt with red and white stripes. Currently, what's been trending nowadays is the Amazing Digital Circus. I cosplayed Jax from that series, and a few times I was mistaken as Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy's. This was not surprising, not just cause they're both rabbits and have a similar physical appearance, but from what I noticed, a lot of Digital Circus fans are also Five Nights at Freddy's fans, and vice versa, so I often see those series being crossed over. Finally, a bit of an extra and not completely related. But while my 1930s and Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse cosplays are very recognizable, I often get approached by Kingdom Hearts and Twisted Wonderland fans as if those two series were the ones that inspired me to cosplay Mickey Mouse at the first place. Now, I'm completely fine with that, but a bit of a plot twist here. I do not have an interest in Kingdom Hearts nor Twisted Wonderland. I know, a bit surprising. What actually inspired me to cosplay Mickey Mouse were the cartoons themselves. Also, Those versions of Mickey Mouse I cosplayed as were my personal favorites ever since I was younger, and those were some of my crazy experiences being mistaken as another character while cosplaying. Personally, I love hearing cosplayers talk about similar experiences, so if you had experiences being mistaken as another character, I'd like to hear in the comments below. And with that, I hope to see you in the next video.